Hey y'all, this is Dietra D and welcome to another episode of the Dietra D Show. As we draw to the end of Black History Month, I am going to talk about a subject that has been bothering me for well over a decade. I have had heated discussions about this with so many other women, specifically Black women. Now, anybody can listen to this episode like you listen to my other episodes, but this morning I'm specifically talking to my fellow Black women and about my fellow Black women. Let me just start off by saying that I love being a Black woman. Wouldn't want to be anything else. Has it been easy? Of course not, especially in the last few years. And I have had the pleasure of meeting and being friends with some amazing Black women in my 53 years. Amazing, beautiful Black women. But I just have to say it, and it's the truth. And I'm pretty sure that there are some other Black women out there that are going to be able to relate to the things that I'm about to say. As much as I love being a Black woman, and as many amazing Black women as there are in the world, there is a small group of Black women that I just refuse to have anything to do with. Doesn't have anything to do with how you grew up, the area that you grew up in, how much money you had when you grew up, how much money you have now, how much education you have or don't have, whatever your status is, it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with your attitude and how you choose to act and carry yourself. And the type of Black women that I absolutely cannot stand are the ones that just get out here and just act like they have no home training. The ones that will attack at the drop of a hat another Black woman. The kind where if you look at them too long, they're ready to fight. The kind that they walk around with a chip on their shoulder every single day. And I don't want to hear that argument that so many of y'all, again, I'm talking to Black women, I don't want to hear that argument that so many of y'all try to come back with, oh, well, it's not just Black women, it's white women too, it's Latina women too. I don't care. I don't care how white women act because I'm not one. I don't care how Latina women act because I'm not one. I don't care how Asian women act because I'm not one. I care about how my fellow Black women act because I am a Black woman. And I have experienced this kind of behavior from other Black women throughout my life. Now, have I had a few issues here and there with white people? Sure, not a lot, thank God, but I've had them. Latino women? Sure, not a lot, but I've had them. But it pains me to say, and again, as many amazing Black women that I've had in my life, it pains me to say that most of the pain and betrayals that I have experienced in my 53 years has been from other Black women. And it truly pains me to say that, but that is my truth. Now, if that makes some of y'all mad, oh well, build a bridge and get over it. And what makes that kind of behavior even worse is that this specific group of black women that choose to act like that, they only act like that with other black women. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. The job that I left in 2024 because it had just gotten too toxic in that environment. It was a law enforcement environment, and that's all I'll say about that. But the environment had just gotten to the point where I couldn't tolerate it anymore. The toxicity it would just choke you if you're not if you're not the kind of person that's messy or bitter or enjoys that kind of stuff. You would not have enjoyed being in that environment. So with this particular example, there was a black girl. Now, when I first started working there, which was 2018, she was real nice to me. We got along okay. But as time went on, I noticed she started kind of having an attitude with me. Now, I don't say this to be arrogant, but as time went on, it became clear to me that it was out of jealousy. And so this particular example, there was a time where there was this Latina girl. Now, I don't know. I just know she was Latina. I don't know if she was Mexican, Cuban, Puerto Rican, Dominican. I don't know. But she was a Latina. Now, we all know in the workplace, because I know I'm not the only one that has experienced this, but when you're in the workplace, they're never going to have their racism, at least not most of them. Most of them, they're not going to have their racism on full display. You know, they like to do those little microaggressions. You know what I mean? So this girl, this Latina, on the sly, she had made it known that she didn't fuck with black women. She didn't like us like that. So this black girl, well, she wasn't really a girl. She was a woman. I think at the time she might have been in her 40s, I guess. But anyway, she went out of her way to give this Latina chick a little mini baby shower at the job. Bought her all kinds of stuff for her baby. She was pregnant. Bought her all kinds of stuff. I wish I had been there, because I would have loved for her to have had the audacity to ask me to contribute to somebody that I knew did not like people that look like us. But yeah, she bought all kinds of stuff for this girl's baby. And I remember there was a particular deputy, black deputy, and she went on and contributed something. And let me pivot just for a quick second. I remember when I found out about this, I asked her, I'm like, Deputy so-and-so, why, you know that girl don't like us. Why did you contribute to that? And I remember the deputy basically told me, she was like, well, I just wouldn't have felt good not giving her anything. She was like, just chalk it up to, you know, the God in me. And, you know, I couldn't say anything to that. You know, she is entitled. She was entitled to feel that way. And I told her that. But that wouldn't have been me. I refuse. And some of y'all can say, oh, well, that's not Christian behavior. No, bullshit. I don't buy that. I refuse to give my hard-earned money or to buy anything for somebody that has made it clear, even on the sly, that she does not like women that look like me. So anyway, back to the story. So this black girl, she bought gifts for this Latina girl's baby. And the deputy told me, when we were talking about this, she told me that when the Latina's shift was over, she gathered up all the stuff and walked out and didn't even say thank you. And I remember I looked at her, I'm like, you lying, right? She said, nope. She said such and such had to confront her about not even saying thank you to people that bought her gifts for her baby. So the deputy said the Latina came back in there and begrudgingly said thank you. So my point of telling that little story is this black woman, she went out of her way to do something for a non-black woman, but yet this same black woman stayed having drama with other black women co-workers. And that just, when I see stuff like that, it just irritates me, because I'm like, okay, you'll go out of your way to help a non-black woman, but yet you'll turn around and practically spit in another sister's face. Stuff like that doesn't sit right with me. And as I said before, I'm pretty sure there are some of you black women out there, I'm pretty sure you've experienced things like this, especially in the workplace. I know I'm not the only one. So yeah, I have seen examples of black women like that for years, and it just boggles my mind. It's like, why do some of y'all go out of your way for non-black people, but yet you turn around and treat your own people like shit? I don't understand that. Never have and never will. And then I remember, let's see, I'm trying to think which story I want to tell next, because unfortunately I have a lot of stories like that. I won't be able to get into all of them, but I'm trying to see which one I want to tell you guys next. I'll tell you this one. This one was from years ago. I have a memory like an elephant. I think I was about in middle school. And I remember, I can't recall where we were going. It might have been to the beauty shop or the grocery store. But anyway, I remember there was a parking spot right in front of the place where me and my mom were going. And my mom stopped short right behind this particular car, because there was a black lady that had come out and she was, putting the key into her car. So I remember my mom saying that, we would just wait for her since she's coming out, and then she could just pull on in and get that spot, because the spot was right there in front of the place where we were going. And before you guys say, oh, well, maybe the lady just forgot something inside the place. Nope. I remember when that lady saw that my mom was waiting on her to get in her car and pull out so she could pull into that spot. I remember this lady took the keys out of her car door, walked back up, and went into the building that she had just come out of, the same building where we were going. And my mom sat there for a few minutes. She was like, well, I wonder if she, is coming right back out. And I remember I turned, because we were sitting where you could see inside the building. And I remember looking, that lady was standing right there. She didn't even try to hide herself. She was standing right there in that door, looking right back at my face in the car window. So when a few minutes passed, my mom was like, okay, well, we'll just have to park over here. As soon as my mom, I kid you not, as soon as my mom pulled into that other parking spot, that lady came out with a smirk on her face, opened her car, got in, and pulled out of the spot and drove off. I remember that like it happened yesterday. It's little things like that. And it's like, why do some of y'all act like that? And again, I don't want to hear nothing about, well, white women, other women do it too. I don't care nothing about that. I'm not a white woman. I'm not a Latina woman, and I'm not an Asian woman. I'm a black woman, and I care about how we act. Every time I go anywhere, one of the first things I look after surveying my surroundings, because I'm real good at that, I check out my surroundings. And then when I go inside of any establishment, the first thing I do is see how many black people are in there, because it's always been, I've always had in the back of my mind, wherever I go, I like to seek out the black people because I'm black. But unfortunately, like I say, there's a specific group of black women that it's like they can't help themselves. It's like it's just ingrained in them. I don't know if it's jealousy or what. And I know that I'm not the only black woman that has experienced this. I've been out in public in large gatherings and small gatherings, and one thing that I have never shied away from doing, and I do this with any woman, whether you're black, Hispanic, what, I do this with all women, but especially with black women. If I see another attractive woman, or if I see a woman that has on something that's really pretty, I am quick to compliment her. I will tell another woman in a heartbeat. If I think she's pretty, I'll tell her, especially if it's a black woman. That's something that has just always been in me. I like giving other women compliments. I was raised to treat people, everybody, how I would want to be treated. Now, has it always been reciprocated? No. And I feel like as black women, there's enough in the world, especially this last year, that we have to put up with. We have to put up with a lot of shit, and that's not being a victim. That's just stating facts. It's all on the news. It's all on social media. It's like some people get joy out of attacking black women. That's a topic for another day. But with everything that we already have to go through, it just seems like we would want to stick together. I would love to see that. I really would. But unfortunately, like I keep saying, there's just a section of black women in this world that, sometimes I can't even put it into words, but I just hate seeing it, and I just finally had to talk about it out loud. I've had plenty of private discussions like this, one-on-one and in small settings. But those discussions would always get heated because, unfortunately, this is another issue in our community. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't like to take accountability. You know, when I have these discussions with other black people, They like to deflect. They go back to that argument. Well, why are you talking about us? White people do it too. That's one of the favorite arguments. And like I keep saying, I don't care what they do in the white community because I'm not a white person. White people can deal with the issues in their community. That has nothing to do with me because I'm not a white person. Same with the Latino community. They can handle their issues in their community amongst themselves. That has nothing to do with me because I'm not a Latina. But it just really hurts my heart when I see those black women that treat other black women like that. It's like, why are you so mad? And I also don't want to hear about, well, we have so much on our shoulders. Well, hell, don't we all? I'm a single mom. Trust me, at my lowest, and trust me, I've had plenty of low points in my 53 years. I got stories for days. There were plenty of times where I could have walked around with a chip on my shoulder, but by the grace of God, I didn't. And when I look back on those times, it surprises me that I didn't. You accidentally bump into them. You say, excuse me, but even though you say, excuse me, they ready to fight. It was an accident. What do you want to fight for? I remember I walked into this luxury store. I won't tell you the name. As soon as I walked in there was a white girl, a young white girl behind the register. When I walked in, she looked up and smiled at me. When I turned to the side, there was a young black girl. And I smiled and I was going to go to her. And I don't know if she was having a bad day. I don't know if another customer that had been in there before me, I don't know if they had been rude to her and it pissed her off. But all I know is that when I smiled and spoke to that black girl, she gave me the nastiest look. And I thought to myself, okay, I'll teach your little ass. I went and let the white girl help me. And some of y'all are probably thinking, oh, you so petty. I don't care. When you are working in the public, when you're in customer service, doesn't matter what it is. If a customer comes in nicely, and I used to have a job in high school at a fast food restaurant. So I make sure that I go out of my way whenever I go someplace, whether it's fast food or a clothing store, wherever it is. Customer service is a hard job. So no matter where I go out of my way to be kind to those people because they're servicing me. But when I smiled and spoke to that black girl and she shot me that nasty attitude, I'm like, okay, you won't get a commission from me today. And again, I don't get it. It's like, why are some of y'all so angry? Why do some of y'all treat your fellow sisters like that? You'll smile and kiki all in a white woman's face. You'll smile and kiki all in a Latina's face. You'll smile and kiki in an Asian woman's face. But let another black woman come in your vicinity, in the vicinity, and all of a sudden you shooting daggers at her. I just don't get it. There's no need to be jealous of anybody. There's no need for you to hate anybody, especially not somebody from your own community. Please stop acting like that. It is not becoming. And walking around with a chip on your shoulder and a nasty attitude, that's going to do more harm to you in the long run. You might get the pleasure of hurting another black woman's feelings. You shouldn't take pleasure in that, but I know some of you do. You might get pleasure from hurting another black woman's feelings, but like I said, in the long run, you walking around with a chip on your shoulder and a jealous spirit and a nasty attitude, in the long run, that's going to hurt you more than anybody else, because nobody wants to deal with somebody like that. I want some of y'all to stop it. And in my opinion, and I used to didn't like to use this when talking about other black women, but you know what? I've started using it. And you know what that word is? Hood rat. Ghetto. That's another one. I used to didn't like to use those words, but I've started using it because you know what? That's how some of you all act. And being ghetto and being a hood rat has, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, it has nothing to do with where you're from or what you don't have. It has nothing to do with that. See, a lot of people think that just because you grew up in the hood, that automatically equals ghetto. Nope. I had plenty of friends coming up that were from the quote hood, and they didn't act the way I'm describing some of you all. Being ghetto and acting like a hood rat is a mentality. It's about your actions. Stop attacking your fellow sisters and start embracing them. When I see another attractive black woman, I am quick to compliment her. And I'm not saying that because I'm looking for a pat on the back. I'm just telling you that because that's the way I am. I've always been that way. Hell, truth be told, I don't even know where I got it from. Because if I want to keep it 100 and be transparent, like I told you all, I will always be. My mother was not like that. My mother had a very jealous spirit. I didn't pick up on it till I was an adult. So honestly, I have no idea where I got that from. But I've just always treated people, especially my fellow black women, the way I want to be treated. Some of y'all are ready to fight at the drop of a hat. And 9 times out of 10 is usually over something stupid. Not long before I left this particular job, a young black girl, she was in her early 20s, started working there. Sweet little thing, pretty too. She was tall like me because I'm 5'9". She was about my height, little slim thing. And she had a lot going for herself. She was in school and she had a little side business going. She liked to bake desserts. So had her Instagram with all her little pictures of her cakes and pies and cookies, everything. When I tell you that girl was not at that job long before people were talking about her, just saying all kinds of things about her. And I know for a fact the girl hadn't even done anything to anybody, because she worked with me a lot. Just the simple fact that she was pretty and had something going for herself. And I remember I asked one of the girls that had an issue with her, I asked her, because it was another young girl. I'm like, why are you bothering this girl? She hasn't done anything to you. This was a young Latina girl. She was in her early 20s too. And she had a little baby. She was very respectful to me. So, I figured I would take the opportunity to try and talk to her. I try to help out younger women, whenever I can. And I asked her, I'm like, why are you beefing with this girl? She hasn't done anything to you. She gave me some little lame answers. Oh, well, such and such said that she did this. And I'm like, okay, so you don't like her because of what somebody told you. And I remember asking her, I'm like, how do you know that this person is even telling you the truth? That's what I mean. We have to take it from a lot of other people. We shouldn't have to take it from another black woman. And the sad part about it is, on this job, when girls are young, since we're talking about females, when girls are young, like in their late teens or early 20s, you can kind of understand it a little, because in your late teens and early 20s, even though technically you are an adult, you're still young and you're still learning. So you can kind of understand it. But what's really sad was a lot of the mess was from the older women. 40s, 50s, like in my age bracket, and even older than that. Women old enough where they should know better. Like, you're somebody's grandmother. Why are you out here with this high school mean girl mentality? That's another one. It's quite obvious that a lot of you have not gotten past that high school stage. A lot of you out there, still talking to black women, a lot of y'all out there, you're in your 40s and your 50s, and mentally you're still at that high school level with the way you think and the way you act. And you need to stop it. Embrace your fellow sister. Stop attacking her. I can't tell you how many times another black woman would come at me just because of the way my hair looked. And I'm like, really? You don't like me because I have long hair? Really? It's just enough already. It's exhausting. You older black women, you should be trying to set examples for the younger black girls, because Lord knows a lot of them out there need it. But instead of being an example for the younger generation of black girls, you're out here acting worse than they are. I see where a lot of these young girls get their bad attitudes and bad behavior from. They're getting it from their mothers and grandmothers, because you guys are out here acting, like I said, worse than they are. And it's pathetic. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, go on and get mad. I don't care. Just build a bridge and get over. You'll be okay. But some of y'all really need to check yourselves, because some of y'all really have some funky attitudes. And nobody wants to be around somebody like that. If some of you would smile more and be nicer, your lives wouldn't be as messed up as they are. Like that old saying goes, you catch more flies with honey. But if you out here walking around and you got a shitty attitude, that's not going to get you far. And that goes for the pretty ones and the ugly ones. Stop being mean to your fellow sisters. Start embracing each other. Anyway, that's all I had to say today. I just had to get that off my chest. Anywho, I will talk to you guys in a few days. Black ladies, I hope you heard what I said. If you didn't, oh well. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for listening to the Dietra D Show. This is Dietra D signing out. You guys have a good weekend. Bye-bye.